Let us start. Now let us go for the sensible heating for our chapter on psychometry. Now, the heating of air without any change in specific humidity is defined as sensible heating. Means if you want to heat the temperature, heat the air of certain volume with certain moisture, if the amount of the moisture present per unit weight of the volume of the air doesn't change, then the heating of the air is defined as the sensible heating. Just 1 second. Specific humidity, which means due to this heat, the mass of air per kg, due to this heat, the mass of air per kg does not will not receive a sensible. I mean, that's humidity ratio, specific humidity will not change. Means the mass of air present per kg of the dry air, it is not supposed to be changed in order to for the addition of heat. So amount of vapor which is remains present remains as it is. Vapor remains as it is. Now, let the air at temperature TD1 passes over a heating coil of temperature TG3. Means here TD is the trivalve, is defined as the temperature trivalve at temperature TD1 pass over a heating coil of temperature TD3. So air temperature which is coming in is given by TD1 and which is passing over the heating coil of the temperature. It is not changing. It is coil of temperature. It is given as TD3. Yes. Here it is, the air is coming in. The temperature of the air is TD1, and the heating coil which is shown here, which is it is a coil which is whose inside the steam is moving, and thus it is heated more or less at the temperature of the steam, and the air is passing over the steam over this coil and thus get heated, and it is coming out with the temperature TD2. So what happens? The air at temperature TD1 passing of the heating coil of temperature TD3. Now, it must so happen that the temperature passes over this heating coil is of temperature TD3. So temperature of the heating coil is TD3, and temperature of the air coming in is TD1. Now, the temperature leaving the heating coil will be less than TD3, but will be more than TD1. So the process of sensible heating in the cyclotic chart, the point 3 represents the surface temperature of the heating coil. This shows a psychrometric chart here. Here, the 3 points of in the have which have 1, 2, and 3 with specific humidity 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, etc., and with respective drive-out temperature at TD1, at TD2, and TD3. TD1 is the temperature, drive-out temperature of the incoming air. TD2 is the temperature of the heating coil, and TD3 is the temperature of the air coming out of the heating coil. But that's what happens. The sensible heating, sensible cooling. Now, the heat absorbed by the air during the sensible heating may be obtained from the psychrometric chart by the difference H2 minus H1. So, what will be the H2 minus H1, where H2 is the enthalpy of the heat content of at the heating coil, and H1 is the heat content of the incoming air. The amount of heat added here is to be given by H2 minus H1, where and it specific humidity H2 the specific humidity during the sensible heating contains, that is, remains W1 minus W is equal to W2. So the amount of vapor which is supposed to be present in the system is not supposed to be changed. That is, relative humidity remains constant. Now, what is sequence? The point 3, the heating the heat absorbed by the air during the sensible heating may be obtained from the psychrometric chart. You have told that the specific humidity means the amount of moisture present per kg of dry air is not changing, that is remains constant, that is W1 is equal to W2. And the dry temperature increases from TD1 to TD2, and the relative humidity reduces from phi1 to phi2, phi1 to phi2, as in this the chart follows. So what is going on here? The W1 remains same as it is, and the temperature increases from TD1, from the temperature TD1 here to TD2, and relative humidity reduces from phi1 to from phi1 to phi2, from phi1 to it is phi2. The amount of heat added during this sensibility will be defined from the relation phi H2 minus H1, or Cp TD2 minus TD1, and W CPS TD2 minus TD1, which means specific heat at the dry air multiplied by the temperature rise due to this passage of this particular volume of air over the heating coil, which results in a changing from TD1 to TD2, and plus W into CPS, that is TD2 minus TD1, where this W is the specific heat, the amount of moisture present in the air multiplied by the specific heat of the moisture multiplied by the temperature rise. So after simplification, we can get CPA plus WCPA, W plus WCPA to TD2 minus TD1 is equal to CPM TD2 minus TD1. Now, the term CPA plus W plus CPA is called humid specific heat. Humid specific heat, and its value is given as 1.002. But we have this specific heat, which is called defined as humid specific heat, which shows us the specific heat at the dry air plus the relative humidity with amount of moisture present in the dry air multiplied by the specific heat of the moisture. So it is giving us the total specific heat of a humid or a certain mass of air which contains humidity or moisture. This is the specific heat of that particular moisture is given as 1.022 kilojoule per kg. So thus, if we replace this by this amount 1.022 per kg, TD2 minus TD1 is multiplied by TD2 minus TD1. For sensible heating, steam or hot air is passed through the okay. So what is shown here? This is a heater, the psychrometric heater, from in which the air is flowing inside here at a time at atmospheric temperature and with a certain specific heat, which is specific humidity, which means it has a certain amount of moisture present per kg of its per kg of its content. And we have a coil here, a heating coil through which the steam is flowing, and with the result is heated to a certain extent. And as air is flowing out over this coil, it is absorbing a certain amount of heat, and thus temperature is raised from TD1 to TD3, TD2, where the heating coil has a temperature TD3, which is supposed to be made more than TD1. So in this psychrometric chart, what we are getting, temperature is of the dry bulb is increasing due to this passage over this heating coil from TD1 to TD2, and where the temperature of the heating coil is plotted here as TD3. We have three specific heats. Specific heats are entering here, which is given by this curve 1. Specific heat of the outload gate of the which is given by the part 1, curve 2, and the specific heat of the steam is relative humidity of the steam, which is given as a curve 3. With at the point of intersection of the vertical line from TD1, TD2, and TD3, will give this point H1, H2, and through H3. And from if you draw a vertical over the enthalpy line from this intersectional point, we'll get the value of enthalpy from the psychrometric chart, which is given as H1, H2, and H3. For sensible heating, steam or hot air is passing through the heating coil. The heating coil may be called electric resistance coil. The sensible heating of moisture can be done by any desired temperature. Now, what is the sensible cooling? The cooling air without cooling of air without any change in the specific humidity again is defined as the specific sensible cooling. The temperature at temperature TD1 passing over a cooling coil of temperature TD3, which is given here, and passing over a cooling coil of temperature TD3, it may be noted that the temperature of the air having the cooling coil TD2 will be more than TD3. So here, the temperature TD2 will be more than TD1. Temperature of air is the incoming air temperature, which is given as TD1, and temperature of air which is going out from the heating system, which is known as TD2, and the cooling coil through which is carrying a say cold water or cold air, which is of temperature TD3, which is less than TD2. The process of central cooling, it is shown here. The respective points TD1 is plotted here, which is the maximum. TD2 is the next the temperature of the cooling coil, and TD3 is temperature of the coil air coming out of the TD. I'm sorry, TD2 is the temperature of the cooled air which is coming out of the psychrometric furnace, and automatic and cooler. What sciences in process? Now, the process of sensible cooling on the Seiberg chart is given here. So what we are having, we are plotting TD1 temperature at incoming point at the inlet air or incoming air. What here, TD2, the temperature the outgoing air, TD3, TD2 and TD3 is temperature of the cooling coil. So if we take these 3 points over here and draw a vertical here, and it will intersect Q1 and Q2 here, which will give you from this point, which is got a vertical here, we will get H1 and H2 over the enthalpy line. Point 3 represents the surface presentation of the cooling coil. The heat rejected by the air during this sensible cooling can be obtained by this chart from H2 minus H1. The amount of heat which is rejected because the amount of heat present in the incoming air minus the amount of heat going out with the outgoing air is the amount of enthalpy difference between H1 minus H2. Now it can be noted that the specific humidity during the sensible cooling remains constant, then which means the amount of the moisture present in the air is not changing, it remains as it is. Then the dry bulk temperature reduces from TD1 to TD2 and the relative humidity increases from phi1 to phi2. The amount of heat rejected during the sensible cooling can be obtained from the same relation as above. That is, Q is equal to H1 minus H2, what is H1 CPA minus TD1 minus TD2 plus W CPS minus TD1 minus multiplied by TD1 minus TD2, where TD1 is the temperature of the incoming air and TD2 is temperature of the outgoing air, and W is the specific heat of the supplied air multiplied by the specific heat, specific humidity of the supplied air, means amount of moisture present per kg of this dry but heated air multiplied by the specific heat of moisture multiplied by the temperature drop of the incoming air by passing through the coil. So CPA plus WCPS multiplied by TD1 minus TD2 is equal to CPM. This term is called humidity specific heat, CPM, and its value is equal to 1.022. Thus, Q is equal to 1.022 TD1 minus TD2. For this purpose, for air conditioning purpose, the sensible heat per unit is given as, says SH means sensible heat, mass of the air flowing multiplied by CPM multiplied by delta T, or rho into V, mass is equal to the volume of flow and multiplied by the volume of the flow of air multiplied by the density of the air, which is the mass, and multiplied by specific heat and multiplied by rise and fall in temperature. So rate of dry air flowing in cubic meter per minute is given as V here, and density of moisture at 20 degrees centigrade, 50 degree relative humidity is given as 1.2 kg per meter cube of dry air. So CPM humidity specific heat is 1.022 kilojoule per kg degree Kelvin. Thus, the density of the moisture at 30 degrees centigrade and 50 degrees centigrade % relative humidity is equal to 1.2 kg per cubic meter of dry air. And CPM humidity specific heat is equal to 1.022 kilojoule per kg per degree Kelvin, and delta T TDT minus TD2, difference of dry bulb temperature between the air entering and leaving condition of air in degrees centigrade. Substituting the value of rho and CPM in the above expression, we get SH. SH will be given as the V. We put the value of rho as equal to 1.2 is equal to 1.2 here. We put the value of CPM, humidity specific heat, is given as 1.022 multiplied by the rise and fall in temperature, delta T, or which is equal to 1.2264 into V and nu multiplied by delta T. Or if whole thing is divided by 60, it will kilojoule per kg, it will become kilojoule per second or kilowatt. That is 0.020 into 2044 into nu multiplied by delta T. So for sensible cooling and cooling coil may have refrigerant, cooling water, or cool gas flowing through it. The sensible cooling can be done only by only up to the dew point temperature, and the cooling of this temperature will result in the condensation of moisture. So we have got sensible heating and sensible cooling. Means we have got a heating coil in one cases, and I have got a cooling coil in one cases, and we are running the and we are running a moisture over the heating and cooling coil, and that's its temperature is rising, but not up to the extent of the heating coil, or not so less up to the extent of cooling coil. And we are finding out the specific heat, and the amount of heat is added in this sensible heat by means of this equation here. By this equation, 0.22 into 0.3 kilojoule per kg for the cooling, and the amount of heat added here in the for sensible heating is given as 1.022 T into D2 minus TD1. As we are mostly interested in doing the cooling of the air which is coming inside, so we are more interested in doing the sensible cooling than sensible heating, but more or less essentially they are the same. Next question is another term known as bypass factor. We have already discussed the temperature of the air coming out of the apparatus will be less than TD5 in case the coil is a heating coil, and more than TD3 in case of coil is a cooling coil. So there is a air which is coming in, maybe in a hot state or maybe in cold state at a certain temperature, which is given as TD1, and the temperature of the air coming out of the apparatus, which is given as TD2, and it must be less than TD3 in case of it is a cooling coil, and must be more than TD3 in case of a must be less than less than TD3 in case of there is coil is a cold heating coil, and that is TD3 when the coil is a cooling coil. So what we are having, TD1 temperature of incoming air TD2 temperature of outgoing air and TD3 temperature of cooling heating coil. Now it is very clear for us that is the temperature of the air coming out of the apparatus, that is TD2, will be less than the temperature TD3 in case the coil is a cooling coil, and more than TD3 in case coil is a cooling coil. So for heating coil, temperature will be less than the heating coil. Temperature of the outgoing air is less than the less than that of the temperature of the heating coil, and or in case of cooling system, temperature of the air coming out is more than the temperature of the cooling coil. So what happens? The heating coil and cooling coil cannot heat or cannot cool fully the temperature of the incoming air which is passing over it. Now, if we consider 1 kg of air at temperature TD3, T1 passing over the coil by its temperature TD3. And what will say that with air passing over the coil, some of it will be bypassed unaffected by the remaining comes in direct contact with the coil. The bypass factor is measured in terms of bypass factor. This bypass process. So certain amount of air with moisture this comes in direct contact with the this heating or cooling coil, and the remaining portion is comes out without direct contact with the coil. This so certain amount of the air vapor mixture is bypassing the whole matter. This bypass of air is affected measured in terms of the bypass factor. The amount of that air that is passes or by bypass factor depends on the following factors. The amount of number of fins provided by in a unit length, that is pitch of the cooling coil fins, the number of flows in a coil in the direction of flow, and the velocity of the flow of air. Now it might be noted that now this amount of air that is bypasses or bypass factor depends on the following factors. The amount of fins provided in a unit length, that is the pitch of the cooling coil fins. The amount of fins means a particular type of plate which is placed over the heating or cooling coil, which conveys more and more heat. The higher the number of heating coils, the more is the amount of heat transfer takes place. The amount of coil rows in the coil in the direction of flow and the velocity of the flow. The rows of in a coil means the row here in the direction of flow and velocity of the flow. Here, this is the different rows. 1 row, 2, 3, 4. These are the amount of rows which is supposed to be present and given by the cooling itself. The sensible heat per minute is given as so the velocity of the flow of air which is passing over the coil. It may noted that the bypass factor in a cooling coil decreases with decrease in the specific and increase in the number of flows. Under ideal condition, the dry bulb temperature of the air leaving the apparatus should be equal to that of the coil, but it is not so because of the inefficiency of the coil. This phenomenon is defined as bypass factor. Enters in the now the ideal condition, the dry bulb temperature of the air leaving the apparatus should be equal to that of the dry bulb temperature of the air leaving the apparatus should be equal to that of the coil. Means temperature of the dry bulb air coming out of the apparatus should be equal to the temperature of the heating coil, but it never so. Because of the inertia of the coil, this phenomenon is known as bypass factor or bypass. So what is shown here? It is a coil here. It is a 1 kg of coming in with temperature TD1. The temperature of the coil is given by temperature TD3, and 1 kg air which is coming out is given by TD2. Here, this temperature TD2 will be supposed to be equal to temperature TD3, which is equal to the temperature of the coil, but in actual practice, it never so. So balancing the enthalpy, you have to do X into CPM into TD1 plus 1 minus X into fraction of the vapor multiplied by the CPM of the mass of vapor, specific heat of the mass of vapor multiplied by temperature of dry air temperature of TD1 multiplied by 1 minus X into CPM into TD3, the temperature of the cooling coil, which is given as 1 into which is equal to 1 into CPM TD2, where CPM is the limit specific heat or specific heat of the moisture, specific heat of the moisture. So if we simplify the matter with x and with non-x's, then x CPM TD1 is there x TD1 minus TD3 x CPM TD3 is equal to TD3 minus TD1. So CPM will cancel each other, and x will be the TD3 minus TD2 into TD3 minus TD1, where x is called the bypass factor of the coil and generally written as PPF. Therefore, x is defined as the bypass factor of the coil. Now PPF is equal to TD3 minus TD2, then TD3 minus TD1, where x is the bypass factor and is generally defined as BPF or bypass factor. By BPF is given, we just put BPF here, TD3 minus TD2, TD3 minus TD1. The bypass factor of the cooling coil in the same way, we have to calculate TD2 minus TD3, where TD2 is the temperature of the outgoing air, TD3 is the temperature of the cooling coil, divided by TD1 minus TD3. The bypass factor heating on coil may also be obtained as discussed below. Let the air passes over a heating coil. Since the temperature distribution of the air through which the heating coil, as shown in the figure below, the sensible heat given out by the coil is Qs U into AC into Tm. Where U is the U into AC into Tm, where U total overall heat transfer coefficient, AC is the surface area of the coil, and Tm is the logarithmic mean of the temperature difference. So we know the logarithm mean of temperature difference we have calculated already. Tm is TD2 minus TD1 is log E TD3 minus TD1 divided by TD3 minus T1. And bypass factor is TD3 minus TD2, TD3 minus TD1. Now the question 1 can be asked again, like U into AC multiplied by TD3 minus TD2 and log 1 divided by Vp, bypass factor. We also discussed that the heat added during the sensible heating is equal to Qs Ma into CPM TD2 minus TD1. That is, CPM is the humid specific heat at 1.022 kilojoule per kg, and Ma is the mass of air passing over the coil. And if we equate this to equation 2 and 3, we'll get U into AC multiplied is equal to CPM PM log 1 plus bypass factor, 1 divided by bypass factor, because we are all this TD1 minus TD2 is cancelling in both these sides. So log 1 by bypass factor is equal to UAC divided by M into CPM. Or log bypass factor is equal to minus UAC divided by MCPM, or bypass factor is equal to e to the power minus UAC divided by MCCPM, or E is equal to minus UAC divided by 1.022 MC. According to the type of discussion, we can derive this equation for a cooling coil. The temperature of heating or cooling coil may be measured in terms of bypass factor. A coil with low bypass factor has greater performances. Now, efficiency of the heating and cooling coil. The term 1 minus bypass factor is defined as the efficiency of a coil or contact factor. So we have another factor, bypass factor and contact factor. Now, efficiency of the heating coil is efficiency 1 minus bypass factor is 1 minus TD3 minus TD2, TD3 minus T1. we just put the value of the noise expected here, and then again solving the TD3 minus TD2, TD3 minus TD1. Similarly, the efficiency of the cooling coil is 1 minus TD2 minus TD1 divided by TD1 minus TD3, or TD1 minus TD3 divided by TD1 minus TD2. Let us go through few problems. Okay, tomorrow I will go through these particular problems here. That problem point 6.7. Let us stop that class here.